Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to week 7 of the 8-week Personal Development Accelerator Program. When we started this program, week 1, I was like, oh my God, another 8 weeks. But we are almost done, and by next week, we'll be done. And I believe that we are much better than we started, much, empowered, much informed, much equipped than we started this program to actually, become that mentor for the young people. So, because this week is the catch up for last week, week 6, we had our 40th anniversary. If you have been following my status, you would have seen, a lot of pictures that we posted. It's been back to back. We had a party or a mini party at the center on the 8th. That was last Saturday. And then on Wednesday, we went for our book, our outreach. We went to 10 schools. We spoke to a total of 1,006 SS3 students, and we gifted them each a copy of the new personal development skills guidebook for African children. So all of these skills that we're teaching here, we have put all of them together. So this book has a total of 32 skills with case studies, questions, insights, and all from our 50 skill training list. So that's why we couldn't have our class last week. So we're going to have a quick catch up. Like I was saying, I love case studies because case studies is like teaching you how to apply a particular skill. It just gives you like how to apply it. Then you can know what to do. Because sometimes when we learn something, we might learn the definition, we might learn the benefits, but when we don't know how to apply it, it becomes difficult. But a case study will just play out like a real life way that you can apply. And by reading the case study, you too can be able to say, okay, this is how I can start. This is the first step, second step, third step. So for the 2 weeks, the 2 lessons, I'm going to use case studies. So let's begin with communication and public speaking. So at the end of this, I would like to get a review so that you can let me know if you found it really impactful. Personally, I found, trainings with case studies much more impactful than just telling me about giving me information about the topic because it's practical. And that's why this book, this personal development skills book, every single skill, we have a case study to introduce the topic, and then every other thing comes. It's a very powerful tool. So let's begin. The first topic we are looking at is communication and public speaking. This is something that we all get to do. Can you see my screen? Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it. I can see it.
Okay. Because I cannot see it. I'm seeing me, and I want to see my screen. Okay, great. I'm going to stop sharing and start again. Communication and public speaking. This is something we engage with every single day. We communicate. We are communicating right now. So this skill is vitally important. And this curriculum, it has 4 major parts. But every part has a case study. The first part is understanding communication, mastering verbal communication, the world of nonverbal communication, and then introduction to public speaking. So in this lesson, the objective of this lesson is to equip teachers and pupils with foundational knowledge of effective communication principles, to develop practical verbal and nonverbal communication skills, to build confidence in public speaking for various contexts, to foster a culture of ethical and constructive communication in the school or work environment or home environment, to empower individuals to express themselves clearly, listening actively and engaging meaningfully. So that's the objective, and now the case study. So what we're going to do is we'll learn about, I'll read the first case study. We're going to read 3 case studies on this subject, and then we'll move over to the next one. We'll have our interactive question and answer, and then we move over to the next one. Practical application. This is a school play. Meet Akwo, a 16-year-old student who loves acting and dancing. Akwo was excited when her school announced auditions for the annual school play. She had always dreamed of playing the lead role, but she knew she had to work hard to convince the director, Mrs. Okon, that she was the best fit. So here is the challenge. Akwo prepared for the audition by practicing her lines and perfecting her dance moves. However, on the day of the audition, she felt nervous and struggled to remember her lines. Mrs. Okon seemed unimpressed, and Akwo worried that she wouldn't get the role. I'm sure this has happened to many of us. Certainly it has happened to me, when you feel like you are practicing and then you come in front of people to speak and you start mumbling. So the turning point, after the audition, Akwo decided to talk to Mrs. Okon about her performance. Instead of blaming her nerves or making excuses, Akwo used active learning skills. Number 1, she maintained active listening skills, because we've already known and we've learned along this study that communication is not just about speaking, but listening. It's not just you speaking, but listening. So Akwo used active listening skills. Number 1, she maintained eye contact with Mrs. Okon as she was talking to her. She asked clarifying questions about what she can improve on. Then she summarized what Mrs. Okon said and showed empathy. So number 1, she maintained eye contact. She didn't come and was just looking up and down. She looked at, these are communication skills that we're learning. She maintained eye contact, she spoke clearly, and she asked clarifying questions about what she would improve on. And then finally, from the answer, because she was listening, from the answer that she was giving, she summarized what Mrs. Okon said back to her. Mrs. Okon was impressed with Akwo's willingness to learn and improve. She offered Akwo some constructive feedback and encouraged her to work on her lines and confidence. The outcome, Akwo took Mrs. Okon's feedback seriously and worked hard to improve. She practiced her lines regularly, sought feedback from her friends, and even recorded herself to identify areas for improvement. When the cast list was announced, Akwo was thrilled to see that she had landed the lead role. What Akwo learned from this experience? She learned that effective communication is key to achieving her goals. She realized that active listening helps to build trust and understanding. Feedback is essential for growth and improvement. Adaptability and a willingness to learn can make all the difference in achieving success. So, This is the first case study. Your turn. Can you think of a time when you faced a challenge or wanted to achieve a goal? How can you use effective communication skills to overcome obstacle and succeed? What can you learn from this Akko's experience? For me, reading this, it reminds me of different goals that I've, set for myself. Because when we set goals, it's not just about setting goals, but being able to also create a plan to achieving that goal. Because goals set and left by itself will not be achieved. We have to create a plan. And part of the plan might require mentorship. It might require coaching. And this is where communication comes in, because if you're going to engage a mentor, you're going to engage a coach, you have to bring out your active listening skills. You have to be able to communicate your goals clearly. You have to be able to listen clearly. You have to be able to also apply what was, said and learned. That's how communication skills, and that's why communication skills is vitally important. Without it, there are so many things that we cannot do. For instance, you're here today because you want to become a better coach. You want to become a better coach. That is one of the reasons why you're here. Imagine if you didn't reach out when this offer was made and you didn't bring yourself to this class. Some of the things that you're learning as you listen and the questions that you ask and the things that you're learning from this experience, you'll never know it. So communication is way beyond the everyday normal conversations that we have. It is vital to achieving any goal that you want, any goal. Even if the goal is to build a school, you still need to go and actively engage some people, communicate with some people to get insights and strategy. So communication skill is very important. And some of the skills that we're teaching in communication, active listening. It's not just about you talking. You have to listen. You have to make eye contact, just focus. It's not, mumbling everywhere. You have to be able to, because when you're actively listening and you're making eye contact, you should be able to summarize what you have said, what you have heard to the coach or the mentor. In coaching, one of the ways for you to know a successful coach, watch the way they deliver their coaching, methodology. When you come in, after the greeting, they will ask you, what do you want to achieve, to craft your goal? After you have talked about everything, a very good coach, the next thing they will do is to tell you everything that you have said to make sure that both of you are on the same page. That's how you know that the person is listening. You can't be a coach without listening, because the children or the teens or whoever you're mentoring cannot come to you and share things, and as they are talking, you're not even remembering what they're saying. But the mere fact that you repeat those things to them the way they said it, it catches their attention to know that, yes, you're really paying attention to me. Yes, you're really interested in me. Yes, you really want to do something, offer me something good. And you kind of buy them over through that. So communication is so important. So let's move on to the next case study, which is the power of effective communication, verbal communication. There are many types of communication. Apart from active listening, there's verbal, the one that I'm doing now, and then there is nonverbal. The nonverbal communication is about your tone, your body language, because everybody is communicating, whether you say a word or not. Just your body movement alone, you have communicated something, So let's look at the power of verbal communication. A case study. Meet Norma, a young entrepreneur who started a small business selling eco-friendly products in her community. She had a passion for sustainability and wanted to inspire others to join her cause. However, she faced a challenge many people in her community weren't aware of the importance of eco-friendly products, and she struggled to convince them to try her products. If you're in any kind of business, whether coaching, whether you have physical products, digital products, this case study, you can liken to it because you know that you have something to offer, but a lot of people do not know. You have a lot of value. Like PDAC Foundation, we have a lot of value, but it's not everybody that knows. So it takes communication to be able to get the word out. So let's see how Norma did it. The challenge. Norma realized that she needed to improve her communication skills to effectively convey her message and persuade her audience. She attended a workshop on verbal communication where she learned about the importance of speaking clearly, using persuasive tone, crafting her message, and engaging in conversations. The solution. Norma applied the skills that she learned to her business. Here is what she did. Number one, she spoke clearly. She practiced articulating her words, speaking at a moderate tone, and using pauses for emphasis. While explaining the benefits of her product, she said, our eco-friendly bags are made from recycled materials and they are durable, affordable, and good for the environment. So she was articulate. She knew exactly what she wanted to say, and she said it without mumbling. Number two, she used persuasive tone. Norma used a friendly and enthusiastic tone to engage her audience. She said, imagine a world where we reduce plastic waste and protect our planet. Our products can help make that a reality. So she was, she brought enthusiasm. She didn't come depressed. So the way that we present our case also determines how people will pay attention to us. It's not in all cases that you come out so enthusiastic like this, but the energy that you bring, you should be able to read the room to know the level of energy that you should bring because it's very important. Your energy is very important. So for her, she required a little bit of high energy and enthusiasm. So number three, she crafted her message. I hope you're taking notes because these are the skills that we are talking about. There's no rocket science. Number one, she spoke clearly. Sometimes when my son is speaking, because he's so in a hurry to share what he wanted, he just calm down. And while he's hurrying, he's just mumbling over the words. Calm down, just speak clearly. We all need to practice that. I had to learn how to speak clearly. Even if it means taking my words one after the other, I had to learn how to speak clearly. That sentence I just made now, I had to learn how to speak clearly. You can see people speak like that. It's so fast. And sometimes we miss the message. So to say it again, I had to learn how to speak clearly. I took my words one after the other. So that's important. Learn how, it's a skill, you can practice it. Anybody, all these skills that we're talking about here, anybody can practice and perfect it. Secondly, she used persuasive tone. She brought energy. Number three, she crafted her message. Norma structured her message to appeal to her audience interest. She explained how her products could help them save money, reduce waste, and contribute to a sustainable future. Guess what? What I'm doing now is an example of crafting the message. Because when I was thinking of what's, the different skills, and even thinking about this book, I thought, how am I going to craft this message to gain the attention and the interest of, my audience? And I thought about using case studies because case studies are really practical. And that's why I'm sharing this case study now. So you have to think through your message and craft it how it's going to enchant and engage the right audience. I believe that you all are enjoying these case studies that we've been using over the weeks because it makes the work very, very wonderful. So the message was intentionally crafted to start this program with objectives. And then the next part is case study. That's part of the thing about communication. You have to be intentional about your message and you craft it in such a way that you capture your audience's attention. Then finally, number 4, engaged in conversations. Norma asked open-ended questions to encourage discussions, and she listened actively to her customers' concerns. She responded thoughtfully, addressing their questions and providing solutions. What is the result? Norma's business flourished. Why won't it flourish? She effectively communicated her message, and her community began to understand the importance of eco-friendly products. Her sales increased, and she built a loyal customer base. People appreciated her passion, knowledge, and ability to explain complex issues in simple terms. And that's exactly what we are doing. We are going on sharing the message of personal development in clear tone, persuasive tone, and carefully crafted resources. And the audience are engaging in our products. They are loving it. And our customer base is growing. This can be applied to any business or any venture, even in your home. So that is the case study for verbal communication. Let's take the last one, which is for nonverbal. Not the last one. The second to the last one, which is for nonverbal. I actually thought this was going to be shorter now. I guess we're taking more time on this. Please, before we continue, how are you receiving this? Is it working for you? Please, let's know.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's do a case study on nonverbal communication. Meet Ada, a young student who recently landed her first job interview at a popular tech company in Lagos. Ada was excited, but also nervous about making a good impression. As she prepared for the interview, Ada learned about the importance of non-verbal communication. She practiced good posture, made sure to smile. See, we are listing a few of these non-verbal cues. She practiced good posture, made sure she smiled, and maintained eye contact during mock interviews with her friends. On the day of the interview, Ada wore a confident smile and stood tall as she walked into the office. She greeted the interviewer with a firm handshake and maintained eye contact through the conversation. A lot of people do not know that this list that we ran through is an example of non-verbal communication. You're communicating something. She's communicating confidence. That is one major thing she's communicating. She's communicating high self-esteem. She's communicating confidence in herself. She greeted the interviewers with a firm handshake and maintained eye contact through the conversation. During the interview, Ada used open and engaged body language, nodding to show she understood the questions and making gestures to emphasize her points. She also paid attention to the interviewer's nonverbal cues, noticing when they seemed interested or needed more information. The interviewer was impressed not only with Ada's answers, but also with her confident and engaged demeanor. After the interview, Ada received an email offering her the job. There's something here. I hope you didn't miss it. They said Ada used open and engaged body language. So the question now is, if there is open body language, is there a closed body language? Yes, there is. When you're talking to somebody and this person is like this, I don't know if you can see me, cross hand like this, that person is closed. The person is not open. Or they cross their legs and just, they're not nodding, they're just looking. That person is closed. They're not open. Whatever you're saying, they're not hearing you. I experienced that firsthand. I shared my experience when I went to the office of one politician on a courtesy visit just to introduce our nonprofit. The man was just closed from the beginning. The way he was reacting, he was just closing his eyes, yawning. It's like, oh my goodness. I couldn't even continue. I couldn't even share everything that we needed to share because he was closed. He was closed. And there's nothing you can do. If somebody is closed and you try your best, like change your topic, try to introduce new things, even though towards the end of the whole conversations, when I was about to collect my books and my resources that I brought to give him as gifts, I stretched my hand to collect the gift that I already give him because we use money to print it and somebody will not come and, of course, he noticed the quality of our product. And he said, oh, wait now, why do you want to take it? Wait now. He now opened this book, just a few pages into this book. Case study everywhere, case study. Okay. You can take this to the office of, he now told us where to go. So towards the end, we were able to get him to at least look at what we came for, and he directed us led us to the right direction. So what did Ada do? What Ada did right? Number one, good posture. Ada stood tall and confident, showing she was engaged and interested in the conversation. Ada made eye contact. Sorry, you cannot see my eyes now. They will soon bring the light. Ada maintained eye contact, building trust and showing that she was confident in her answers. Smiling, Ada's smile made her appear friendly and approachable. Number four, open body language. Ada's posture and nods showed she was engaged and interested in the conversation. And finally, paying attention to nonverbal cues. Ada noticed the interviewer's nonverbal cues and adjusted her response accordingly. So, practicing good nonverbal communication, good posture, eye contact, smiling in your daily interaction. These are things that you can learn. Because when people hear nonverbal, they don't know exactly what they're talking about. So this is a list of some. Good posture, eye contact, smiling, and observing body language. Be aware of your own body language. Pay attention to your own body language. Make sure it's sending the right message. Be aware of their own body language. In conclusion, Ada's story shows that verbal communication, non-verbal communication can make a big difference in how others perceive us. By practicing good non-verbal communication, you can build stronger relationships, make a good impression, and achieve your goals. So we'll run. Please, do we understand nonverbal communication and verbal communication from these case studies that we have talked about?
Yes, yes.
And how to apply it? So I'll read the next one. On public speaking. You see why case studies are very amazing? It just teaches you everything in summary. Very easy to apply. So let's read Amira's journey to becoming a confident public speaker. If you want to be a confident public speaker, pay attention to this case study because it will give you the strategies that you can apply. Amira is a 17-year-old high school student who loves science and technology. She's always been fascinated by environmental issues and wants to make a difference in her community. However, Amira has one major obstacle. She's terrified of public speaking. What was the challenge? Amira's science teacher, Mrs. Johnson, assigned a project that requires students to present their research on environmental issues to the class. Amira knows this is an opportunity to share her ideas, but she's paralyzed by fear. She worried that she would stumble over her words, forget what to say, or be laughed at by her classmates. I think we have kind of found ourselves in this kind of position. When I was in school, to defend my project, that I did not worry on myself, it was horrible. And it was just to go and read the thing I printed from internet too. It's not that there was one special thing. It was so embarrassing. By the time I finished, my course advisor then, she was like, so you just went to go and copy all these things from internet. You did not even modify anything. It was just so horrible. It was so horrible. My whole body was shaking. I was so afraid. Looking back now, I don't even know what was scaring me, But they said that aside the fear of death, the next thing that people are most terrified about is the fear of public speaking. Apart from death, the next in line is public speaking. So it's common for people to be afraid, but there are simple strategies. And when we are able to apply these things, it's easy for us to, speak in public, whether it's a group of 2 or 3 or 1,000 or 5,000, but it takes practice. So the turning point for Amira. One day, Mrs. Johnson noticed Amira's anxiety and takes her aside after class. She shares a story about her own struggle with public speaking, like I just shared, and offered some words of encouragement. Mrs. Johnson tells Amira that public speaking is a skill that can be learned with practice and patience. So I am Mrs. Johnson to all of us now. If you have fear of public speaking, it is a skill that can be learned by anybody. And I am glad that I've learned this skill and I'm practicing it. And I'm still, learning. I'm still growing in my learning of public speaking. So what was the solution? With Mrs. Johnson's guidance, Amira starts to work on her presentation. She, number one, prepares thoroughly. So you really have to prepare, because if you know what you are saying and you know what you want to say, at least you have passed that one. The worst part is when you don't even know what you want to say. Prepare thoroughly. Amira researched her topic, organized her thoughts, and creates a clear and concise presentation. And that's why we make presentation slides to guide us, to guide our thoughts, because with our thought pattern, if you leave the whole thing to be going, you might just forget something. So when we make presentation slides, it helps to bring our thoughts together, and keep us on track of what we want to do. So I want to encourage us, make presentation slides for your trainings. It helps you to cover many aspects of what you want to teach without, after the training, you'll be like, oh, I forgot this or I forgot that. So she practiced regularly. Number 2, Amira rehearsed her presentation in front of the mirror, records herself, and practiced in front of her family and friends. She focused on her message. Amira remembers that she's speaking to share her idea and make a difference, not just to impress her classmates. So she focused on the message and not the people. Now she uses positive self-talk. Amira encourages herself with positive affirmations such as, I'm well prepared. I'll do good. The outcome. The day of the presentation arrives and Amira is nervous but confident. So it's okay to be nervous but confident. She stands up in front of her classmates and delivers a clear, engaging, and informative presentation on the importance of recycling. Her classmates are impressed by her knowledge and enthusiasm, and they ask thoughtful questions. Amira's presentation is a success. She feels proud of herself for facing her fears and for sharing her ideas with others. She realizes that public speaking is not just about conveying information, but also about inspiring and motivating others. Amira's story teaches us that number one, public speaking is a skill that can be learned. With practice and patience, anyone can become a confident public speaker. Anyone. In fact, me, I can become a public speaker that is confident. Anyone can become that. Number two, preparation is key. Thorough preparation and practice can help reduce anxiety and boost confidence. Coming into this class, I wasn't nervous at all because this is a topic that I love. Personal development, something I'm passionate about. These are things I've researched over. I was not nervous at all. So thoroughly preparing, knowing what you're talking about also boosts your confidence. So it's important. Number three, focus on the message. Remember that you're speaking to share your idea and make a difference, not just to impress other people. You now start acting drama in front of them. They'll forget the message and be looking at you. At the end of the day, you have not delivered any message. You just entertain them with your body language. And that's not the end game of public speaking. And finally, positive self-talk matters. Encourage yourself with positive affirmations to build confidence and overcome fear. Now, these are the things that you can do to improve your public speaking. Additional resource, watch TEDx talks or other public speeches to learn from experienced people. So you can watch how people speak, how they speak, to be able to learn. You'll see that the skills that they practice is still the same as the skills that we're talking about now. It's just that you're seeing it in practice. Join public speaking groups like Toastmaster. In fact, I had to go and sign up for Toastmaster. I signed up to the Toastmaster International something. I don't know what they call it again. I remember I paid for a public speaking class. I had a coach that taught me to speak in public. And then I practiced a lot with the mirror on my phone. I'll just bring out my phone and then I will be speaking to the phone. What I'm doing now is also public speaking because people at the receiving end, they are the ones also listening. It's public speaking. So you can practice with your phone. Read articles and books on public speaking. Record yourself speaking. I'm telling you, that is one of the best and fastest ways you can grow as a public speaker. So we have come to the end of the communication and public speaking. Please, you have any questions before we go into the next? We have 3 more classes to go. How did it go? Do you like the case studies that we shared? Should we share more case studies moving forward? Tell me so that I can see how I can make adjustments or just continue with the case studies. Is there anybody here? Nobody is here.
No, we're all here.
We're here. Yes, the case studies they are eye openers and they are very more practical. So I think they are okay for me. Thank you.
The case
Okay.
studies are practical ways to connect to the lesson that is being taught.
Okay. So we should go ahead with case studies. Yes, relatable. Thank you. Okay, so the second Remember, we're still reviewing last week. I think I'm going to reduce it to 2 case studies at this time because at this rate, when are we going to leave here? Thinking skills. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen for part 2 of week 6. Thinking skills. We all think. And somebody's wondering, is there any special skill for thinking again? Yes. And when we are not aware of that, when we are not aware of that, then we don't utilize those things. So there are different types of thinking. So I'm going to start what we have covered in this particular curriculum. We have the foundations of thinking. That's where growth mindset, fixed mindset comes in. Then we also have critical thinking, creative and problem-solving thinking, decision-making, and metacognition. So we're going to read case studies to be able to understand this better. So the first one on critical thinking. Amira was a 15-year-old student who was assigned to research the impact of social media on teenagers' mental health. She wanted to write a well-researched and credible report. But then the challenge, Amira faced several challenges. She found many articles and studies with conflicting information. Some sources seemed biased and unrelatable or reliable. She wasn't sure how to evaluate the credibility of the information. Now, here's the critical thinking process. Amira used her critical thinking skills to overcome the challenges. Number 1, identifying assumptions. Amira recognized that some articles assumed social media was entirely bad. Number 1 is identifying assumptions. They assumed that social media was entirely bad or good without providing evidence. So how you know whether this is an assumption or not is what is the evidence to back this? These are ways to think critically. It's not everything that they say to you that you believe. What is the evidence to back this? What's the source of this thing? Now you're thinking critically. She questioned these assumptions and looked for studies that provided balanced views. Evaluating sources. That's number 2. Amira evaluated the credibility of her sources by considering factors like author expertise, publication reputation, and potential biases. She prioritized peer reviews, studies, and government reports because anybody can come up with anything. So you can't say, oh, because this person said, who is the person? Is the person credible? Is the person an expert in this subject? What publication? Is it a reputable publication or just, one publication out there? So number 1, remember, identifying assumptions, people that just assumed. Number 2, evaluating the sources of those assumptions to know whether they are credible. Number 3, logical reasoning. Amira identified logical fallacies in some articles, such as, these are different logical, ad hominem attack on social media companies. She focused on arguments that provided evidence-based reasoning. So the basis of this logical reasoning is providing evidence. It's not just about what people say or how they said it. Well, what is the evidence? How credible is it? Number 4, analyzing arguments. So Amira broke down the arguments presented in her sources, identifying claims, premises, and conclusions. She evaluated the strength of the arguments and she looked for potential biases. What is the outcome? Amira's critical thinking skills helped her to write a well-researched and balanced report, identify credible sources, and evaluate their credibility, develop a nuanced understanding of the topic, like a wholesome understanding of the topic, make informed conclusions based on evidence. The lesson: Amira's story teaches us the importance of critical thinking. By identifying assumptions, evaluating sources, using logical reasoning, and analyzing arguments, we can make more informed decisions. Critical thinking helps us to navigate complex information and avoid misinformation. With practice, anyone can develop strong critical thinking. So, we have listed out the factors under critical thinking, identifying assumptions. You know, when you go on social media now, let's say what is happening between Regina Daniel and the husband, Senator Ned Nwoko. There are so many information jumping from everywhere. So many information is coming. You have to engage your critical thinking skills to be able to come to your own conclusion or assumptions. It's not everything that is out there that is true. That's simple truth. There are so many things there, apart from even this case. In different cases, sometimes something will just go viral. People will carry it. But when you sit down and critically think through what is at stake, the sources and every other thing, whether there are biases, assumptions, and everything, you should be able to come to your own conclusion to know this is the situation. And it's really not the way it appears. That is just that's the simple truth. So we all need that skill to be able to make informed decisions in our everyday activity. The second one, we'll talk about creative and problem solving. So you see there are difference. When we finish this creative and problem solving, you'll be able to identify the difference between critical thinking and creative and problem solving thinking. So let's go. Maya was a 16-year-old student who noticed that her community park was dirty and overgrown with weed. She wanted to do something to improve it. Maya faced several challenges. Number one, she didn't know where to start. She wasn't sure if anyone would help her. See, these are the challenges. She was worried that the project would be too difficult. Now, this is where the creative and problem-solving process is applied. Maya used her creative and problem-solving skill to overcome the challenges. Number one, fostering creativity. Maya brainstormed ideas for the project, such as cleaning up the park, planting flowers, and creating a community garden. She thought outside the box and came up with innovative solutions. The first thing is, Maya identified the key problems with the park, such as litters, overgrown weeds, and lack of sitting areas. She broke down the problems into manageable parts and prioritized them. So she identified the key problems. This is part of problem solving, creative and problem solving. The next part, Maya generated potential solutions, such as organizing a community cleanup event, partnering with a local business for donations, and recruiting volunteers. She evaluated the feasibility and consequences of each solution. The next step, Maya developed an action plan, assigned tasks to team members, and set deadlines. She executed the plan, and the community came together to clean up and improve the park. Do you see the application of creative and problem-solving skill in play. It looks so natural and so, simple, but this is how it really does work. We need to really think things through. And by the different steps that Maya applied, you see how it's different from critical thinking skills. I remember when we got a second grant from Ford Foundation, and we're going to do, we wanted to start the digital training skill. And I was thinking, how are we going to do this? Where are we going to put the computers? If we put them inside the center, we have children coming in. Accidentally, they might knock down, computers and all. And then we thought, what kind of computer should we even buy? That was where we started. So we decided, okay, let's buy laptops. Number one, is power effective, it's portable, easy to move, instead of buying big desktop. So if we buy these laptops now, are we going to put it out there where the children are? What if they knock it down and tell you sorry? What are you going to do? We didn't have enough space. We didn't know what to do. But I kept thinking and thinking and thinking. And finally, this is where we are. I said, this office that we have now, we can actually convert into a mini lab. This place is really small. And then how many computers will be able to pass through this place? Of course, with the help of the team, we're able to think of, okay, the way we will arrange the tables, it can contain at least 12 computers. And then there'll still be enough space for children to move around. So I'm going to turn, I don't know how this works, but can you all see my camera? Because I want to turn this to the space, because that's where I am, so that you can see what we came up with. Our creative thinking came up with this creative thinking and problem solving. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
we
so
can.
Nene, you've been here, so you saw what we did. Can you see what I'm showing you? Can you see what we've done to this place?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
You see? So now, the way we put our table, we put it round, so the children can still sit here, and there'll still be enough space. Of course, we put an AC here as well to make it more comfortable for the children. It took a lot of thinking and for us to come up with this. And by the time we finished, like, we are kind of satisfied with our mini computer lab. And we are starting our trainings this December. So clap for us. That is our practical creative and problem solving process. The last thinking skill that we're going to look at is decision making. Thank you, Nene. Decision making. So we have looked at critical thinking, creative and problem solving thinking. Now we are going to look at decision making, which is vitally important. The story of David's decision, because this is also what we teach young people and what we know ourselves that guides us in making decisions. David was a 15-year-old student who was part of a school debate team. He was selected to participate in a national debate competition, but the competition coincided with his scheduled routine medical checkup. See? So you have two things now. You now have to make decision. It coincided with his medical routine checkup. David had to decide whether to attend the competition or the medical checkup. How do you choose the one that is more important to you? The decision-making process. David used his decision-making skills to make a choice. Number one, he identified the problem. David identified the problem. He had to choose between the debate competition and his medical checkup. Number two, gathering information. David gathered information about the competition and the medical checkup. He learned that the competition was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and his parents agreed that it was a unique chance for him to showcase his skills. Number 3, evaluating options. David evaluated his options. He considered the potential consequences of attending the competition versus attending the medical checkup. Since the medical checkup was routine and not an emergency, he decided he would reschedule the medical checkup. David decided to attend the debate competition and rescheduled his medical checkup for another time. He chose to prioritize the competition, knowing it was a rare opportunity. The reflection on the outcome. David reflected on his decision. He performed well in the competition and felt proud of his choice. He also got his medical checkup done later without any issues. You see that decision-making skills, problem-solving and creative thinking skills, and critical thinking skills are completely different. Some people might be able to have the decision-making skills, but they don't know how to solve problems, or they don't know how to think critically. In fact, the critical thinking, a lot of people, because any information they get, whether it's biased, they just swallow it. They won't think through. You see a lot of that on social media. So all of these, they have different skill sets. So if you want to dive deeper into the decision-making skills, you will see how values play out in the decisions. Because when you have your values locked down, you have to, every decision you're making, you base it based on your value. You can come here and give me a business idea that, this business idea, the first thing is it in line with my values, my goals? If it's not, I don't care. If it's going to take me out of my values, out of my goals, out of my life, purpose, I'm not doing it. So this is one major, way to make decisions. Then the lesson, David's story teaches us the importance of decision-making and metacognition. By using a decision-making process, we can make informed decisions. By considering our priorities and values and weighing options, we can make decisions that align with our goals. By reflecting on our decisions, we can learn and grow from our experiences. We have come to the end. Please, any questions before we go over to our next? Any questions, please? Or contribution? Based on the case studies.
No question or contribution from me. It was actually a very straightforward lesson, easy to understand.
Okay. Thank you. So, should we move on to the next? Let me see if we have questions here. Okay. So, let's end this. Okay, no, let's start with our next. Basic financial literacy. I also need this lesson. So should we go on with case studies to learn more with case studies?
Yeah.
Yes or yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yes. I love case studies. So, welcome to the Basic Financial Literacy. The objective of this lesson is to equip pupils or mentors with fundamental knowledge and skills in managing money responsibly, to empower the mentors, teachers, the coaches, the parents to effectively deliver financial literacy concepts in an engaging and age-appropriate manner, to foster a generation of financially intelligent individuals. Now we'll read our case study. This is Aisha's awesome adventure in Allowanceville. Aisha's awesome adventure in Allowanceville. Meet Aisha, a bright and curious 10-year-old living right here in Ibadan. Aisha gets a weekly allowance of 1,000 naira from her parents for helping with chores around the house. Aisha loves buying suya after school with her friends and really wants to save up for a brand new set of art supplies she saw at the market. They cost 5,000 naira. Aisha realized that if she kept buying suya every day, she would never have enough money for her art supplies. She needed a plan. This is where our lesson about money comes in handy. Step 1, what is money? Aisha understood that the 1,000 naira in her hand was money, something she could use to buy things that she wanted or needed, a medium of exchange for value, product, or whatever. She knew it was different from just asking her parents for everything. Her allowance was her own money earned through her hard work at home. Step 2, needs versus want. We are already teaching basic financial literacy here. Now we've defined what money is. Now we're talking about needs versus wants. Aisha thought carefully about what she spent her money on. Needs. Aisha knew she needed food to eat. Sometimes her allowance helped her buy snacks if she was extra hungry after school. Number 2, wants. Buying suya every day with her friends was something she enjoyed, but it wasn't essential. The new art supply were also a want right now, but a very important one to her. Aisha realized she was spending a lot of her money on a want, suya, and it was stopping her from getting a bigger want, art supply. Step 3, the concept of value. Aisha thought about the value of things. A stick of suya might cost 100 naira. While it tastes good, she realized that saving that 100 naira each day would eventually add up to something more valuable to her in the long run. Her beautiful art supplies. She understood that the art supplies had a higher value to her right now than the daily suya treats. Number 4, earning money. Aisha was already earning her weekly 1,000 allowance by helping with chores. She thought about other ways she could earn a little extra money. She talked to her neighbor, Mama Bolaji, who sometimes needed help watering her garden. Mama Bolaji agreed to pay Aisha 200 naira each time she helped. This showed Aisha that doing extra work could lead to more income. Number 5, introduction to budgeting. Aisha's awesome plan. Aisha decided to create a simple plan for her 1,000 weekly allowance. Because a budget is a plan for your money. If there's no plan for the money, when the money comes, it just goes. So, saving for art supplies, 500 naira. Snacks, sometimes, 300 naira. Extra earning from Mama Bolaji, 200 naira. This will go straight into her savings. So she just decided that 200 naira will go straight into her savings. With this plan, Aisha saw that she could save 500 each week from her allowance. And if she helped Mama Bolaji, she could save an extra 200. That meant she could save 700 every week. She did not throw away her snack, but she still put some money there. occasionally. The awesome outcome: by following her simple budget, Aisha was able to track her spending and prioritize her goal. Instead of buying suya every day, she limited it to a few times a week. She diligently helped Mama Bolaji with her garden whenever she could. In just over 7 weeks, since 5,000 over 700 is roughly 7.14, Aisha had saved enough money to buy brand new set of art supplies. She was so excited and proud of herself for making a plan and sticking to it. The lesson learned from Aisha's adventure: money is a tool. It helps us get the things that we want and things that we need. Knowing the difference between needs and wants is important. It helps us make smart choices about how we spend our money. Things have value. We need to think about what's truly important to us. Working hard can earn us money. Our efforts have a reward. Having a simple plan, a budget, helps us reach our goal. It puts us in control of our money. Aisha's story shows us that even with a small amount of money, we can make smart choices and achieve our goals by understanding these basic money principles. Just like that, you can be awesome with your allowance or salary and your future earnings. So I'm going to just share briefly, how we are able to achieve this mini computer lab. When we got the second grant, the amount that was approved was not the amount that was released to us. But because we already have a plan, a list of things that we needed to do. And of course, this outreach and this 4th anniversary, including the app and all the many things that we wanted to do, we created a list of everything. I'm telling you, without that list, which is like a budget, it would have been very difficult for us to achieve what we did with the money we received. Because it was as if one thing would have taken all the money. One thing, just the computers alone would have taken all the money. But because of the budgets that we made, of course, we had to cut down some things, but we were able to meet every single thing on that list. Maybe not 100% because, our money was not, was cut. Maybe not 100%, but we were able to meet with every single thing on that list. And I'm telling you, we got the money. Let's say we got the money today. By next tomorrow, the money had been invested. The money had been well invested into everything that we plan to do. Something wanted to be like, something came to my mind and said, you had this money in your accounts just 2 days ago, and now the money is not there again. And then I thought about everything that we have achieved with this money, and I was so proud of ourselves, I was so proud that we're able to make that plan and execute it effectively. Had we not made that plan, I don't think we would have been able to achieve so many things that we did. So it's really important to make plans. You can call it a budget, but planning for your money is important. Because when you don't plan for your money, when money enters, you don't know what you're going to do with the money. You think that all the money that enters your hand is your own. You start spending it as if it's your own money, until you realize that the money has finished and there are things that are needed to be done that, you never did. And then the money is not there again. So financial literacy is not just about making money, it's also about investing money wisely, it's also about multiplying money, and it's also about creating a plan for the money. So, we've taken the light again. So do we have any questions, please? Do we have any questions? Or let's have a brief conversation on this before we go to the next one. Tell me, I want to know, how do you budget your money? How do you plan for your money? I know everybody here works. How do you plan for your money? What are the things, the topmost things in your budget? How do you save? Can we have a conversation on this? I'm sure everybody has something to share. Remember the learning retention pyramid that we when we listen alone, we're only getting 5%. But when we communicate and share, it escalates to 95%. Please, so that we can learn from each other. Me, I also want to learn. How do you do your money things? How do you save? How do you budget? What are the things that are top of your list? What goal are you working on, and how are you, planning to achieve it if it's financial? Let's have a conversation on this, please.
Why are you peppering us with this your drink? Good afternoon,
Okay.
sis.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Okay, let me share something. Somebody said something in the chat room. Have you seen it? Coach Nene.
Let me see. Okay. When I receive my salary, I always make a budget and I follow it strictly. It helps align things. If not, you won't tell how a money will go. It's true. It's very important. Okay, so share with us, Jenny.
Okay. How I save, I would simply say I save purposefully, in the sense that when I'm saving, I name it for what it is for. I often use target saving. If I'm saving for a particular thing, top of my savings goal, you have investments, and then my personal development. And when I say personal development, I always target to the particular thing it's for. So I will determine what is the amount I need for that goal. If it's an investment, what is it that I want to invest in, and how much do I need to get started? So I do target savings where I will give myself duration of time, and I use my OPay and determine the duration of time I will need to save that amount. By the time I decide the duration, it will now break it down for me. So for you to be able to achieve the amount, maybe 500,000, maybe let's say 100,000 in 30 days, for example, then you have to set aside so amount every week. So by automation, it will deduct that amount of money from my account every week. I will choose the day of the week and the time it should deduct that amount of money from my main account. So I don't always meet up. Sometimes that time and that day, I will not have that particular amount in my account. But because I have set it in target savings, once I get fund, I will top up in order to meet up to that target. And another thing that is an incentive for me is that doing target savings always give me a good interest rate on my savings. And I don't always want to lose that interest, because if at the end of the duration, and you don't meet up to that target, you're going to lose all your interest on it. So I work hard. I had the target savings recently, and at the end of the target savings, I had 16,000 naira interest on it.
Wow.
Yes. And the savings was actually like, I think within 3 months or so. And it gave me up to 60,000 naira target, interest on it. So I worked very hard to ensure I meet that target, because I wanted to achieve my goal, one, and then I also didn't want to lose my interest on it. Uh-huh. So as soon as I achieved that goal, I set it for the date I want to go and make that investment. So as soon as I achieved that goal, the next day or 2 days, I went ahead to use that money to purchase what I wanted it for, so that I don't get tempted to use it for something else, because there are pressing needs. So that is how I do my savings and achieve my goal. As soon as I made that investment, top on my list was investment. The second goal was my children needs. They needed some things, shoes, sandals, and it's always like, I need to do this. As soon as I made that investment, I had that. In fact, it was my way of rewarding myself. Was to go and buy those essentials for my kids. I just went to one good store and just, in the space of 2 days, I had pairs of shoes for each of them, and all of that. And I'm so happy that I did that investment, and I have been able to buy pairs of shoes for my kids the way I wanted it. I'm also doing another target savings for something I need, and just like I said, I put it in automation so that it will help me to meet my target. Thank you.
Amazing. From the things that she just said, you see that there's always a goal for the money. Because if you're saving, what are you saving towards? You have to define it. What are you saving towards? When the goal is not defined, it becomes really, difficult to follow through. So there was a goal, and then, of course, she worked hard. And the thing about this setting goals for your finances, you begin to attract that money. Somehow, you begin to attract the money to begin to come to you. Before you know it, you have it all and you're able to achieve that goal. Because once you set a goal, I'm telling you, there's something about setting a goal and writing that thing down. It has a way of coming through. I don't even know how to explain. I don't know who I was talking to about the mobile app that we are going to be launching in December. It's almost done. When I had the idea for this mobile app, I said, wouldn't it be wonderful to have an app where we can put all these our amazing resources, and it will help us to reach out to more people. We don't have to bring them into the center. What about people in other African countries? Because our goal is Africa, it's not Lagos or Surulere. So, of course, I went to find out how much to make app. I didn't know the thing was expensive. In fact, one person called 9 million, the other one 7 million, 5 million, until we finally got the person that is doing the app. And to tell you the truth, we did not have the money for that. But then I met this person. See, another wonderful thing about communication and being in a network. So I joined the program, and while we are introducing ourselves, the lady introduced herself that she does apps and all that. Immediately, I entered this person's inbox. I said, please, I want to do apps and all of those things. So by the time she sent me a quote, I think her quote was almost 6 million. I was like, I just ran. So the program was like 3 months. The program was a 3 month duration. So we had now gotten to know ourselves because it was the first week that I reached out, and she sent me the quote. Me, I just removed myself. I said, don't have this kind of money right now. But I still wanted it. Another good thing I did, I always do that, I always encourage people. I went on AI and I asked AI to create for me an image of PDAC Foundation mobile app. So he generated some kind of image. I printed it and I put it on my vision board. I was just thanking God because it was a desire, was it something I wanted? So towards the end of the program, because we now have a relationship, we now chat and everything, the lady said, let's do this thing for you. Since it's non-profit, I'm going to remove all my profits. You're just going to pay for the development and the fees and everything. And then she gave me a quote that was like 3 million. I still did not have 3 million to go and pay for any app. I said, okay, because that was the cheapest. And then all the things I said I wanted, she said they would do it. I said, okay, I will do. So she now sent me a message. Okay, that I should send a commitment fee that normally they take 80%. And then I said, I don't have the money now. I don't have any let's wait till when I have the money. So she sent me another message. Just commit what you have, at least like 200K. Commit 200K. Let's start. I now checked. I said, if I commit this 200,000 naira, where will I get 2.8 million from? But out of faith, I just knew that this was something we were supposed to do. I went to gather the money from different places and I paid her 200,000. And they gave us 6 to 8 weeks to be able to pay the rest, because that's when the app will be ready. Guess when the money came? When we got our second grant, it came just in that 8th week. So we had the money right on time to pay for the remaining balance. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but if we hadn't set a goal for that and at least made a commitment, I don't think we would have attracted the money. See, you pull the resources you need to yourself. Your own is to decide what you need. Be decisive that you're going to do this. Whatever it is. That decision and resolve within you that this project must be executed will pool resources. It will come from everywhere. The universe will work for you to bring that thing for you to execute that. It might take a little while, but as long as the goal is clear, that's why goal setting is powerful. If you're here, you've not set goals, or you don't set goals, or you don't take goal setting seriously and vision board seriously, you are missing out a lot. It's not by power, it's not by might, it's by the Spirit. So maybe this is a word for someone. Let's get into our very last topic for today, leadership and teamwork. I love this. Oh, somebody said it's a word for you. Yes, receive it. Leadership and teamwork. When people come to the Transformation Center, if you've not been here, please, anytime you come to Lagos, don't miss to come here. If you're in Lagos, plan to come here so you can see what the power of vision and goal setting can achieve. It's not me that did any of these things, though, because don't forget that I'm housewife. Oh. Don't forget that. I moved from housewife to this thing. Don't forget. It's not by power. People come here and they are amazed. Like, they will say that the pictures and the videos they see online does not even do justice to this place. This place is inspirational. This place is a product of vision, a product of goal setting, a product of prayer, everything, call it everything, because it's not by power or by might. Sometimes I stand here, I'll just look and say, look at what we did. How did we even do this? It's the Holy Ghost. Well, we had a goal, we had a decisive, we had a vision, number one, and then we set goals. And then the money started coming. You remember when we were calling for donations for the Transformation Center? Please, we want this one, we want this, we want this one, we want this one, we want this one. People did not really respond, but God found a way to pull the resources to us because we're not doing it for ourselves. I only come here maybe when we have a program or like today that I have to do this training. Otherwise, this place is just for these children to enjoy. And they come here, they love it, they enjoy this place. And that is enough blessing. So let's go on to the next one. So if you're in Lagos, come and visit us. We are open Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Just come in and see what Vision has done. Teamwork, leadership and teamwork, and is also a product of leadership and teamwork. Leadership is the ability to lead a group of people, inspire a group of people to achieve a defined goal. That's leadership. It's not being a boss or being in charge. It's your ability to inspire people, motivate people, and move them to achieve a goal. When I look at this last program that we did, I'm like, thank you, Father. I've really grown in leadership, because it takes leadership to be able to bring in people together. Do you know people left their jobs? Nene even left her work at Ikeja to come here. I did not boss. Nene, did I boss you to come here? If I had come, or Diego, why would they want to come? Well, we've been able to paint the vision, talk about the impact, share the goal to people, and we're able to capture their hearts, and they accept it, and they want to be a part of it. The ability to do that, that's what leadership is about. Because that is what moves people to work together with you to achieve something. That's leadership. So, and this works the same way, even in the family with your children. If you're bossing your children around, you're not leading them. They might obey you. They will obey you because you're my mommy. Once they start getting of age, they will start showing you attitude. If you have teenage children and they're showing you attitude, you talk and something is wrong with leadership. Something is wrong, because they will start pushing back. When they are small, you just boss them around, they will do it. As they start growing, they will start resisting you. They will press brake on you. What would you do? You lose your temper and you beat them. The more you beat them, the more they are driving, going far away from you. Then you now come to church and be praying. Well, I know none of us here is in that category. My child. But simple leadership skills, when applied even with your children, will give you a wonderful relationship. I have teenagers. Me, I don't have any problem with my teenagers, because I treat myself and I treat them with respect. I don't talk to them anyhow. The way I don't want to be talked to, I don't talk to them like that. In fact, my older children that are teenagers, I see them as my younger siblings. I'm telling you, that's the way I see them now. I don't even see them as my children. I see them as my younger siblings, and I accord them the respect that I would accord a younger sibling. When I'm sharing with them, I'm suggesting, I'm not telling them, you do this, you do that. There was a time I wanted to do, it was not working. They'll push back on you. In fact, they might say, yes, mommy, they will not do it. But now I suggest, this program is good though. What do you think? That would be nice if you do it. Look at the benefits and all, and I allow them to make their decision. If you choose to do it, these are the benefits. If you don't do it, you don't get the benefits. It's your life. See, we should just know that we cannot live our children's lives. Our own is to guide. Our own is to direct in love. They are the ones to make their decisions. And we should also be okay when they run into problems and make mistakes. It's part of growth. Have you not made any mistake? Did you not learn from that mistake? Many parents don't want their children to make mistakes, but mistake is a part of growing. So as we get into this topic, we're going to be learning skills, objective, our journey into leadership and teamwork. Our objective is to understand the core concept of leadership and teamwork, to identify personal leadership strengths and areas of growth, to develop essential skills for effective communication, decision-making, and problem-solving, to learn how to build and participate in high-performing teams, to practice constructive conflict resolution, and celebrate shared success. So let's read a case study. Okay. Give me a moment. Okay. Ada, meet Ada, a young leader. Ada is a 17-year-old student who wants to start a recycling program in her school. She noticed that many students are throwing away plastic bottles and paper without recycling them. The challenge, Ada faces resistance from some students and teachers who don't see the importance of recycling. She also has to work with limited resources and budgets. Now, this is the leadership approach that she took. Ada decided to use a democratic leadership approach. She talks to students, teachers, and administrators to gather support and ideas. So she communicated. She creates a team of volunteers to help her implement the recycling program. She did not work alone. See, leadership is not about working alone. It's about gathering a group of people, inspiring them to achieve a common goal. So you have to have that ability. Listens to feedback and makes adjustments to the program. Inspires her team to take ownership of the program. Now, the results. After several months, the recycling program is a success. The school reduces its waste, and the students learn about the importance of recycling. Ada's team is proud of their achievement, and the school community benefits from their efforts. This is a simple leadership, plan and execution and success story. So let me just, like I talked about the program that the 4th anniversary program, this is really the same thing that we implemented to achieve the success of the outreach program. When we talked about the 40th anniversary, we thought, what can we do to, number one, expand our reach, expand our impact, and inspire a lot of children that we are called to. And we thought, okay, for this anniversary, let us visit some schools and speak to SS3 students. We are specific about the children that we want to speak to. So we started talking about it in morning school. I'm sure if you're in morning school, you've heard us say it. We started talking about it in the community. That was when we created that volunteer flyer and link. I said, please come together. We started working to put a team together to help to implement this program, because it's not something that one person or two people can do. Then we listened to feedback and we made adjustments. What was some feedbacks that we got? I want to think about some practical feedbacks that we got. When we put out the announcement about t-shirts and the price, the fee for the t-shirts, someone reached out to me and said, this 10,000 is too much. There are people that may not be able to afford it. Immediately, another message came after it that says, this t-shirt is not compulsory. If you're not able to get your t-shirts, you can just come dressed on casual corporate. We put it there. You will receive an ID card, because we really want something to identify the team. That's why we thought about making the t-shirts. But then someone reached out and said, 10,000 is not everybody that can afford to pay that 10,000 for t-shirts. We now immediately said, okay, come dressed corporately, corporate casual, you will get an ID card. So we listened to the feedback. We didn't say, oh no, you must get the t-shirt, you must. What's their own? They will not come. Is it by force? So we made that adjustment. Then we inspired the team to take ownership of the project. If you were in that group, you would know, you remember that we posted this book, a copy of the Personal Development Skills Guidebook. We posted this book and we told the members of the volunteer team, choose any topic in this book. That's what you're going to teach, any topic you like in this book. Because we have 33 topics, choose one, the one that you are most, passionate about, that resonates more with you, the topic that you want to share with children, because we covered many grounds here. So it's not like we gave them, you must do it like this. Do you know, by doing this, a lot of people took ownership of this program, because when they went to the school, they were just sharing from their hearts. You need to listen to some of the videos. You need to listen to some of the videos that, the volunteers shared back. They were really passionate about this. They took it as their own project. And what was the result? We visited 10 schools. We effectively delivered the message and the book in less than 1 hour. Everybody was done. Everybody was happy. The children had their books. The program was successful. Everybody was really happy and fulfilled. We achieved our goal. And that is leadership in display. So, the lessons to learn from this. Ada learns that effective leadership involves, number one, identifying a problem or opportunity and taking initiative. Number two, gather support from others and build a team. Number three, stay positive and motivated, even in the face of challenges. Number four, lead by example and inspire others to follow. Okay, this part I didn't talk about staying positive and motivated, even in the face of challenge. Our outreach program was on the 12th, and we had already planned that we will meet up at the center by 8:39 so that we can take the pictures and go to school. And then we went to school. One of the schools said, no. We can't come into the school before when the classes are going on. We have to come by 11 o'clock. So now we had to change the dates, let people come in here and stay here before, so that we can move to the schools between 10:30, 11, so that they can meet up. That's one, because a lot of people had already planned. So because of that, some of the volunteers were not able to come, but we're still calm. So on the 11th afternoon, I now called Coach Victor. I said, Coach Victor, how about our books? Has the printer delivered our books? Coach Victor said, no. I said, have you called him? He said, no. This was 11th afternoon. I was like, what? Like, how are we going to go for the program if there's no book? Because we cannot go without the book. That's how we called printer. And printer said, around 5 o'clock, we had already closed and all. She said, okay, maybe we'll come in the morning, but I know how that morning thing will come. I just said, please go and deliver it there. Leave it at the staircase. No matter the time, go and keep it there. And I refused to worry about it. I just went to bed. By the time I woke up, I think I saw his message. I've delivered it at the staircase and snapped it. So that's why you people, the people that came, saw the books at the staircase, not because we wanted to leave it there. There was no time to bring it up. So we said, leave it there so that we can pack it from the staircase and go. So staying positive, even in the face of challenges, this can be, this would have been able to destabilize a lot of, things. Like you see people panicking, oh, we've not done this, oh, we've not done this, we've done it. Just knowing that everything will be okay because we actually planned well. So let's go into a few of this teaching because we've already covered it, but we'll just run through it. What is leadership? leadership is more than just a title. Leadership is the ability to influence, guide, and inspire others towards a common goal. It's about empowering individuals and fostering an environment where everyone can contribute their best. Leadership isn't just for adults or those in charge. It can be shown by anyone at any age in any situation. There are different leadership styles. We already talked about the democratic. That's why they do primaries and they do manifestos. That's why, it's democratic. They go for tours. They go to different, talking about what we are going to do. We'll do this one. We'll build roads. We'll give our children egg. We'll provide free school bus. Who provides free school bus? But it's not Buhari's listen, that our children will be eating egg. They will have free school bus. Okay, so that's democratic. So there is autocratic. That's the leader makes the decision alone. Good for quick decision, but can stifle creativity. So you don't consider other people. You just make that decision. You feel like this is the best thing that we need to do. It's important to do that. I do that when there is need. But the best kind of leadership is actually when you allow people, the transformational leader will come there. Then there is the democratic leader. This leader involves the group in decision making. He encourages participation and ownership, but it can be slow because by the time we are trying to get people, okay, how many of us are going to do this one? People will now be dragging their leg. Okay, choose the date. People, it can be slow, but it gets people. Then there is the laissez-faire. That's the leader allows the group to make decisions independently. Empowering, but it requires highly self-motivated teams. The people have to be self-motivated. If they are not self-motivated, how will they get up to really make the decisions? That means the work will not be done because everybody is waiting for every other person. Then there is a transformational leader. This is the kind of leader that I want to be. The leader inspires and motivates the group to achieve extraordinary results. The focus is on growth and the vision. I love it. Then there is activity idea. Okay, this is activity idea for the class in discussion of leadership, the leadership styles. So there are really 4 leadership styles: the autocratic, democratic, the laissez-faire, and the transformational. The truth is, these different types of leaders, you can find them anywhere, even in the home. If you're married, you can decide what kind of leader is your spouse, because if they say the head, the husband is the head, what kind of leader is he? Is he autocratic? He just makes decision by himself and believes that that is what everybody needs. You see that kind of leadership style will stifle creativity. People cannot impute, even the children cannot impute, the wife cannot impute. It's not the best kind of leadership style. It works, but it's not the best. The democratic, everybody is involved, which is amazing. Then this other one, of course, you can't allow children because they are not really highly motivated to be able to make their own decisions. You must have raised them to an extent before you can allow them to, make such decisions for themselves. Then the transformational leader, where we have a common goal, we have the values, we have the vision, and we are being inspired to pursue that thing. Amazing. So we have really talked about many of these things. What kind of leader are you? I think this is something that you need to ask yourself. What kind of leader are you? Can you just put in the chat box from these 4 leadership styles? Where are you now and where do you want to be? Where are you now? Are you autocratic? Are you democratic? Are you the other one? Are you transformational? Are you autocratic hoping to become democratic or democratic hoping to become transformational? Just put it on the chat box. everyone has unique strengths that can be applied in leadership. Are you a good listener? Are you a good organizer? Are you a good creative thinker? Are you a good motivator? Everybody has a unique strength to bring into their leadership. Is anybody answering the kind of leader they are? I've always been a democratic leader, but when I started learning about transformational leadership, I started learning the skills of transformational leadership. So I am transitioning, or I have transitioned into transformational leader. I've never been an autocratic leader. An autocratic leader, you can call it a boss that will just make the decision for everyone. I've never really, even in my temperament, my natural temperament, I've never been an autocratic leader. Oh, Temida, you started with autocratic to democratic and now a transformational leader in my home. Yeah, it's amazing. That's the goal, really.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
goal.
Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Good
So,
afternoon.
growing up, I grew up in an environment where it was democratic. It was democratic leadership that we had. Yes, of course, sometimes my father was autocratic. Maybe there sometimes I would want to take a decision and he would call us together and he would ask us what we think about whatever it is he wanted to do. And we all gave our opinions. Sometimes he went with us, but there are sometimes when he just wanted things done in a certain way and he would use his veto power. So I grew up in an environment where we had a voice. And I think that's why um I'm not afraid to express my opinion where I go. If something is not right, I say it because that was the environment I grew up in. And I took that same because that is what I knew growing up. So it's that same leadership that we have in our house, democratic leadership. My husband is also like that. We talk about things, but there are sometimes when maybe when we know something as adults, and we involve the children. Like my youngest is 6, and the guy has a voice. His voice is loud, as in he expresses his opinion. That's what I mean. Not that he shouts. He expresses his opinion. He will tell you, no, I don't like this. I don't like the way you are doing this, mommy. Mommy, I actually do not like it when you do this, or I don't like this particular thing. This is what I want. And we as adults, when we know that it's better for us to do it in the way we are suggesting, we use our veto power because they're still children, they don't understand. And also in our home, we are democratic leadership. Yes, we started learning about transformation now, and we are transitioning. We ourselves will have to learn to know what it's about before we can even practice it. So I can say largely in my home, we are democratic leaders. That's the way we are running the home. And even at work, in my workplace, the people that I work with, or the people that I work with, yeah, sometimes maybe we have a task and I throw it open. We're like, okay, so we have this task to do. How do you think we can solve it? What is the best way? And everybody gives their suggestion. I have my own suggestion. Maybe I already know what to do. But by the time you hear other people give their suggestions, you also learn from them. And then by the time we all bring all our ideas to the table, we modify it, refine it, and come up with something that will work. We'll just come up with the best option when all of us will all bring our ideas to the table. So yes, that's what I want to do.
Oh, amazing. Who else wants to share? While we're waiting for the person, for me, I think, starting these communities that we've started, like I started learning. I really never knew like all these types of leadership. But like I said, I've never really been an autocratic leader when it comes to the workplace. I've never been like that. But growing growing up, I didn't grow up in well, it wasn't all the time that our parents would call us together to make, decisions together. They would just make decisions for you because I've talked about going to boarding school and never really knowing the reason why I had to go to boarding school. until like way into my adult. That was what my mom told me. As in, I'm like, if you had just shared these things with me, it would have made my, I would have had more peace going, because I never knew. I was like, I'm the last born and I'm the only one that went to boarding school. Why me? I was always crying, why me? Anytime I'm going back to school. But when she gave me her reason, I was like, I understood it, but you would have just shared it with me. So with that, I started learning the democratic leadership where we'll get other people's opinion. But I noticed that when I had my first child, like as a young mother, I was autocratic because I thought it was my responsibility to, instruct and all of those things. I was an autocratic leader, like in my earlier years of parenting. But when I started learning, growing and learning, I started moving from there to democratic. In fact, my parenting style with my first two is different from the parenting style I have with these three that are staying with me now. As in, it's not the same parents that they have. Yes, it's the same me, but I wasn't the same person. I was more hard on the first two than I am on these ones. So, but now I'm transitioning from democratic to transformational leadership in my home, because I now understand that it's not really about, okay, let's make this. What are we making that decision based on? So, what is the vision for our family? What is the values that we hold as a family? So now, those are the things I'm projecting, and the decisions that we make, the things that we hope to do together, is now based on the values, the shared values, based on the vision where we are supposed to be going as a family. So the programs that we decide to sign up to, the things that we decide to be reading, is leading us to that place. And that, for me, is transformational leadership, because we now have a vision and a goal that we are pursuing. So if there is no other question, we'll have to call it a day.
I have
Any
a question,
contributions?
please. I have a
Okay, go
question.
ahead. I'm in
Please, I
class,
want you to yes, I want you to throw more light on
Not
what it means to be a transformational leader.
okay. Sorry,
And
it's not you I was talking to about the light. It's one of the students that came here and disturbed me. Please let me turn on my AC. I off it because it was too cold. Now I'm sweating. Okay. What it means to be a transformational leadership is about, sorry, I think this is loud. A transformational leader or transformational leadership is about inspiring and motivating a group to achieve a set vision or goal. Inspiring and motivating. There is a set vision, there is a vision, there is a place that you want to achieve. If it's in your home, there is something that you want to achieve, your family values, the family goals, getting everyone involved and inspiring and motivating them on how we can get there. For PDAC Foundation, we're inspiring and equipping African children with personal development skills. We want them to discover, develop, and unleash their potential. That is our vision. We have a goal of reaching 1 million by 2030. So we communicate these goals, this vision with the team, and we begin to create resources together and seek out ways for us to reach that goal together. That's transformational leadership. So when you weigh it against the other types of leadership that we've talked about, the autocratic, where I make the decisions and I execute it for everybody. I don't find out what you need or how you want it. I just decide and we do it. And then the democratic leadership is where I will get your opinion. Ngwa, let's do this. But the other one, you're sharing a vision. This is what we want to be known as a family. This is what we want to be known as a family. And you're sharing it. Like in my house, responsibility, personal growth, spiritual growth is our family value. Respect. So anything that they are doing that is not in line with that, we are correcting because we have a vision. So you see it now. It influences the books we buy, the places we go to, because we have a vision that we are pursuing. This is who we are and what we are known for. I don't know if it makes sense now.
Yes, sis. Yes, it's very clear. Thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome.
I'd like to say something here. From
Okay.
my experience, I realized that, well, I have a 20-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 12-year-old. That's like my children's ages. There are times I'll need to be democratic as a parent. There are times I need to be
To
democratic.
who? To which one? Which of the age group?
Well, particularly the younger one. Or should I
Okay.
say the youngest one? The youngest one. I realized that I have to be so that she will understand why I'm taking this step. Once in a while, because she's at that age where she's trying to like discover herself. She's a preteen, so she's like, why am I feeling like this? At times, she exhibits that, and I understand. Okay, you're at that age, so I need to be a little bit of autocratic and a little bit of democratic. But the older ones, basically just transformational style. So I just felt to chip that in, that at times, depending on how, their age brackets, the ages of the children. Thank you.
Okay, so when you say autocratic, I want to understand because, when you say autocratic, what do you have in mind as in particular? Like, can you give me an example?
Okay, like I'm trying to think of one, but nothing is coming to my mind, probably as I'm talking. But there are times that, mommy, I want to do this. And I'll make us understand, why do you want to do this now? You don't need it. Is it bad? Okay, yes, something here. This morning, she has a choir rehearsal, I'm sorry,
I
teen
can't hear
church.
you well. I don't know the volume.
Okay.
Better, yeah.
Okay.
Better.
Like this morning, she told me quite late that she and her senior sister, they're going to church for teens church, choreography, dance rehearsals. And I was like, young lady, you didn't tell me, you didn't tell your dad beforehand. At least you let us know. Fine, we know the senior one usually goes for choir rehearsals on Saturdays. But for you, why that? So I said, well, before you go, this has to be done. She, carried a long face, in fact, so almost crying and all that. I was like, what is this? Anyway, she did all that, and I called her. I said, okay, this, I had to like explain, break it down. But initially I had to be like autocratic that, no, you didn't tell me beforehand. You won't go. Then I said, well, if you do all these other chores that you're here to do, I might consider. Then she now came up with, mommy, I don't think I want to go. I said, young lady, how far now? I made her like, I was autocratic and I was now democratic. In the long run, she went with her sister. So because at that age, she's just 12, 12 and a half, thereabouts. So I believe there are times we have to like, balance it accordingly, because I made her now understand. She now said, okay, mommy, I really want to go. I understand. Next time I'll
For
tell you
me,
before there's a program.
yes, for me, I don't think that is being autocratic because people are having conversation. See, autocratic leaders do not have conversation with you. You don't even have any room to talk. Their word is final. They make the decision and you follow. You cannot say why. So I feel like you're already having conversation. Is democratic. People are talking.
Well,
It's not transformational yet, but it's not autocratic at all. People are talking.
Yes.
Yes. People are talking.
Okay.
Look, I said they came and carried me to boarding school. Nobody told me anything. So you're going to Ufuma. Carried me to how many miles away from home? No explanation. They made that decision for me and just executed it. There was no single input on my part. That's autocratic leadership. You see? So people are having conversations. It's not autocratic, it's democratic.
True. I agree. I agree with that.
Yes. And we should. Because most times, I don't know how you grew up. Like Nene, you're so, blessed and fortunate. I think when I was in uni, I had the opportunity of visiting Nene's house, They actually talk, the way they are with their parents, quite cozy and all. I wasn't like that with my parents. And I don't think that a lot of us in our generation was like that. Like our parents will ask, what do you want? This one, But we are being better. And that's why we have better relationship with our children. That's how our children can come to us and tell us things, because they trust us, because we listen to them. People trust you when they know that you hear them, you listen to them, they trust you. So if you want to build trust, more trust with your children, listen to them. And of course, train yourself not to react. Train yourself not to react, because sometimes they can tell you some crazy things. Like some parents are just so crazy. They will just, I don't know. Recently, I saw a post. Was it not yesterday? I can't remember what I was doing. I saw a post of a lady on social media. The daughter, 10-year-old, came to her and said, Mommy, with pad, Mommy, please, can you show me how to use this pad? I'm telling you, that woman finished that girl. Have I not taught you how to use pad before? And she was recording it and she put it on Facebook. Have I not taught you how to use pad before? 10-year-old like you. How come you're even seeing your period at this time? You better go and be praying to God. What kind of thing is it? I'm telling you, and she never did. And she recorded it. It's a classic way to ruin your relationship with your child. I remember when my child started seeing her period at 10 years. I was in the house. Thank God it was at home. August. In fact, blessing. She started at 10 years. She's 15 now. So she's like mama in that area. She just came, Mommy, I was just watching TV and something just came out. Hey, Jimo, my whole body. I just thought I was smiling. Are you serious? But inside my heart, I was like, Jesus, my body goosebumps and Jesus, hey, I didn't know. Of course, I've taught them how to use pad. I even bought I used to buy panty liner for them to practice with. So when she came, I was like, I was smiling because I know that the way you react will determine the way they will react. I was smiling. I was like, are you serious? Because when she came, she was concerned on her face, but immediately I started smiling. Are you serious? Wow, wow. Hey, that's amazing. Her face changed and brightened up. Are you happy? Because I'm smiling. She said yes. I said, yeah. Okay, we'll go to the wardrobe. You know where the pad is. Go and you know how to use it. She said yes. I said, yeah, go and put it. Hey, my father, Lord, my whole body, my Jesus. I'm telling you, if you have a daughter, like I'm sure the first time you did, told you, I think is that real. I guess it was also a shock to me because she was just 10 years old. She was just 10, But we were able to pass through that, and that period thing was never a problem for her. Like she didn't have any insecurity about it and all of those things, even the siblings and all that. So I think the way we relate with our children will also I never told my mom when I started my period. I didn't tell anybody. I don't know how I figured it out at this point, but I know I didn't tell anybody anything, So to let you know that we didn't really have that communication is now that I'm older that, we have that relationship, but younger, I didn't. And it's not a good thing. I think we have come to the end of today's topic. If nobody else has a contribution, then we will call it a day. But please, how was today? How was today? Was it good for you? Was it impactful?
Yeah, so impactful, sis. Oh,
Thank you.
what a good way to to do my Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank God. All right,
Yes, I
then.
could
Yeah, very
agree.
impactful. Thank you very
Very
much.
Yay. So we'll have our last class next week. And please, let's remember to begin to actively teach these things to our younger ones. So now I've told my children it was supposed to be from yesterday, but I was so tired. In fact, I just slept off and woke up almost midnight. So we are going to include this to our everyday learning because we read the book of Proverbs every day. So today is 15th. We are going to read Proverbs 15. So we do it at the end of the month, we'll begin again. So we're going to add the topics in this because it's 30, 32 every day. So we're just being intentional. And what it's also doing for us, we don't even spend more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes doing this. And everybody has that time. What it does for us is it gives us time to communicate and bond. And it's also a culture that we are forming. When they also grow up, these are things that they'll remember. Do you remember when we used to read together with, mommy and all of those things? So find something that you can do together with your younger ones, of course, with the older ones, just encourage them. My children in the US, now that Christmas is coming, I've ordered some books for them. That Otedola's book, I bought it. After I read the review, it was just so amazing. I ordered it, sent it to their address so they can read it for Christmas. And then I ordered Michelle Obama's book. There is one that she wrote, Adopted for Young Readers. I ordered it for my daughter. Just bought some books for them because they need light. When they have light and they come in the midst of darkness, it's easy for them to navigate. So we need to give them as much light as they can so that when they come to that valley of decision, you don't need to be there. They will know exactly the right decision to take because they know, the right thing. So thank you,
Please, I have a
everyone.
question.
Okay.
Thank you. Please share. I'm currently struggling with this. I know this is the right thing to do, and I know I should be doing it, but I've not been consistent. How are you able to achieve, having time to read with your children consistently as a family culture every day? How are you doing it?
Let me tell you the truth. Most times I don't feel like it. But the advantage that I have is that they are older. So just get it started. So now what I do when I'm tired like this, we take turns. Mommy read today, give them the read tomorrow. This person read. So when I'm just tired, like, you go and get your proverbs. They will go and bring the proverbs. If it's that is reading, maybe in the middle, me, I've slept off, but we are reading. We are reading the thing. And when this person finish reading, I'll just tell them, pray, give us Thanksgiving prayer. That's what we do. We do Thanksgiving prayer. We just thank God for the birds, for the sun, for the moon, for the water, for our bed. We just thank God for everything. And then we sleep. So, but what I'm saying is, I just had to be intentional. I told myself, this thing is just 15 minutes max. Surely I can give them this 15 minutes. Like it's a decision I made to myself. Most of the time I'm so tired or I even want to do another thing, but I'll just say, come, let's do it. Or maybe one of them can read, the older one can read, or the other one can read. So your children are not so young. You have your 13-year-old, I think, your niece that is with you. So you don't have to be the one to read it. That's my point. You do not have to be the one to read it every day. Even though sometimes when I'm really tired and I want us to do it fast, I do the reading so that to be fast. Because when they are reading, it's slow. So that we can just finish and let me sleep. But we are sure doing it. That's the point. Does it help in any way? Jenny? Oh, Jenny is not here.
Yeah, hello, Coach Ogo. Good
Yes,
afternoon.
good afternoon.
Yes, I want to share something with regards to the reading, how
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
able to do it with my kids. And thank you
oh
so
wow.
much for, sometimes I like how real you are. Like the way you share your story at times, it doesn't make us see you like, it's make us see you like you've also been through, some hard times, but you have also been able to get to where you are now with intentionality. And it makes us also, for me, for instance, I all the time after listening to you, I have this thing that okay, so I can also get there if I stay consistent. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And with regards to the reading, I have one biological child, and I have my sister's kids with me. So it was when they came, it was very difficult for us to read, but I started gathering books. We started doing it every day. We did it consistently, and I was reading to them because they didn't like reading. So I intentionally had their routines, and in the routine, the morning and evening routines. In the evening routines, I factored a time for reading. So every day we read for 30 minutes before they sleep. During bedtime, we'll just pick the book and then we'll read and then they'll sleep. So that is what I was doing. But along the line, life happened and I stopped. But I came back to myself again early this year, and we started again. So every month there's a particular book that we pick and then we read. So I let them choose. I have one girl, one boy, and my daughter. She's a toddler. She's 4. So every month they each pick a book that they will read for the month. And then we divide the pages by the number of days in the month. So every day they know how many pages they are reading. So on that day, every day, I'll tell them this week we are reading this person's book. So we have just some few minutes and then we go through. Other times too, they read just as you are saying. Other times they read. And now I don't have to force them. They will just go for the books themselves and then they'll be reading. And we've also limited screen time. During the days we don't have no screen. They only watch movies on the weekends. That one, or the whole family will sit together and then we watch it. So the lady who asked the question can pick some points in here. And it's been very, very helpful. It's been very, very helpful.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's very, very amazing because once you start the consistency in the reading, it becomes a habit. They say you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. You do it for 3 months, it becomes a routine. Or if you do it for, is it 9 months, it becomes a lifestyle. So it's just to start. And then, they can now carry it on. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so, so, so impactful. Thank you. Jenny, I hope you got something from her. All right then. So we'll call it a day. Oh, Sylvia, you want to say
Hello.
something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what if your children are really older? They are like yours that are not here. They are now in the university, and maybe they come home during the Christmas period or during the holiday period. So, and you want to inculcate this very reading culture into them. You didn't do it earlier in life. You notice now, like we're talking, my daughter, you know, she's not the reading type, but I got my son, my first son, to have that culture. In fact, that one can read anything. So, but this one, my daughter, that culture, I didn't build it in her. So, what do I do?
Well, I'll tell you practically what I did when I really wanted because we read all these small, small books, all these books that we've written just to make things easy. But then when my children started getting older, I wanted to introduce them to bigger books. And it's not the same thing, reading the small ones and the big ones. So what I did for my daughter Blessing, because by then David had traveled, I I I started promising her. Number one, I bought the books. I started with the books for teens, like Success Principles for Teens, Habits of Highly Effective Teens. I bought the books. I went to do the research. I bought the books. And then I was not buying one because I remember that she mentioned to me that she has a friend that loves to read in school. So I'll buy the books too. And then I'll give her one and I'll tell her, give your friend. And I'm going to pay you guys. How much was I paying them? I can't remember how much. I promised to give them when they finish one book and review it within a month, I think. I can't remember the. I'm telling you, these children started consuming books. But when I look at the reviews, I'm impressed because you will know that they read it. The only thing I wanted to make them understand is to know the value inside the book. Because once they realize, I'm learning something from this thing, they will want to start reading themselves. Most people don't know that there is value for them inside book. That's why they don't open it. So the money that I was paying them is to encourage them to open the book and start reading, because I knew I wasn't going to sustain that payment. By the time they read 1, 2, 3 books, they will know. And in fact, me too, I'll never pay them again. I'll tell them, you don't want to learn, don't learn. That was what I did. So they are older children, like in holiday now, I know they might come with their projects or whatever, but you can just buy 1 or 2 of these books and just tell them, let's do this, read this book, and I'll pay you something big, or that will be big in their eyes, something motivating. That thing that she wants to buy for the next semester, you tell her that you buy it for her. You just buy like 2 or 3. If it's a big thing, buy like 2 or 3 books. It's not to read, they'll write the review in their journal and send to you. Once they are able to open these books and see the value in it, you don't need to tell them to read again. They will read. They will. I don't know if this is helpful.
Yeah. I'm going to practice it. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Somebody raise their hand. Joy?
Coach, I actually raised my hand, but towards the tail end of what you just said now, you answered my question. I was gonna say you should talk more about how to make them review the books. But you said they write in their journals and right?
Yeah,
And
they're
if you
writing
can
their
still
journal.
speak more about it. Fine. Just how to make them review the books.
Is to write it, is to, for me personally, because me too, I don't have time. Just write it in your journal and then you show me the journal. Do you know, sometimes when I'm even ransacking things, sometimes I'll see a piece of paper that she wrote her review. I'll just bring it and I'll read out. I'll just smile. I'll be so happy in my heart, you know. So just let them write, because you're also teaching them another success skill, which is journaling. You know, they can tell you, but like we've learned in the retention plan, when they just, reading alone is like 10%. Journaling increases it, because when you're journaling, you're bringing out what you read. So you're learning twice. I think it increases to like 50% retention rate. So I tell them to journal, Well, maybe when we have time, we can now talk about it. Well, I'm assuming that we are busy, but then they can journal and send to you. You can just open it, look at it and say, well done, yay. Or what did you learn? We can have a discussion on that. So I think, the Holy Spirit will also give us, the right approach, because every child is not the same. The right approach. Yes. All right. Do we have any? In the absence, let us call it a day. See you next week. Please, have you signed up for the have you signed up for the Legacy Mastermind series, the master class? It's going to be very practical. Please sign up and we will see in class 1st to 3rd of December. We'll create our vision board, set goals, create vision board, and then I'll teach you some things about NLP. NLP is Neuro Linguistics Programming. I'll teach you the importance of NLP and how to use it to achieve your goals. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much, Chris.